Hi everyone, Jennifer here. We have a very special guest with us today on the channel. Angela Reed from Parisienne Farmgirl is here to talk with us today. All right, welcome back to the Daily Connoisseur. Thank you so much, Angela, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Jennifer. I'm really excited to be visiting with you this afternoon.
Well, I'm so excited to get to know you better, and I know that a lot of people watching this are going to be so excited that you're here, and because you're kind of a superstar in the Francophile world.
Yeah, that's fun.
You are. And I was just asking you because, okay, so Angela she's a writer, she's a blogger, she's a YouTuber at Parisienne Farmgirl. And if you don't know her channel, I will leave it linked down below. You have got to watch it. It's so good. I love your videos.
Thank you. Thanks.
They're beautiful.
Thank you. YouTube is new. It's new for me in the last year and a half. So I feel like I'm really starting to get a handle on my style and what I want to present. So I appreciate that.
But you're so good at it. I mean, I feel like I've been doing YouTube for so long, like 10 years. And I'm still so bad at YouTube, I feel. But you're just like, right off the bat, just so good. Like your videos have amazing videography and cinematography, and they're very beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try to, when I'm filming, I try to remember what would I like to see, what kind of music would I like to hear? What sort of shots would I like to see? Because, for like you said, the Francophile world, sometimes there's a lack of inspiration. There's sources for inspiration. So I thought if somebody wanted to seek out a source, what would they want to see? In fact, when I started the YouTube channel, I just typed in French farmhouse and nothing really came up.
Which is amazing to me.
Yeah, right.
It's think that there'd be more.
Right. So it was just a lot of still shots from people's favorite magazine articles set to music. And I thought, oh, well, I could share mine. So
I think people come to me after reading the Madame Chic books and they expect that French lifestyle because of the books that I wrote. But I think that those people who are disappointed with me would absolutely love you because I incorporate French, what I learned from France, into my life, but I still have a very American life, with my children. I've got young children, and and it's like I'm not walking the streets of Paris, and neither are you. But you have a lot of French style inspiration that I think a lot of people, really love.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how did you come about blogging and YouTubing? Is that it? You saw the kind of gap in the market for French farmhouse?
Actually, I started blogging so long ago. It's embarrassing. My blog is just very tiny. I just call it the little blog that could, but I actually started back in the day with Pioneer Woman and the Julie and Julia gal.
And what year was that? Because maybe I did too.
Oh my goodness. I started in 2005.
Okay, so you were before me too, because I started in 2007. So I was just a few years after you.
And it was when Facebook was just really gaining steam, and I was really sort of turned off by Facebook.
Yeah.
And I didn't, want to post the burrito that I had eaten last night. I was like, this is not the content I want to present the world. So I used it sort of in rebellion that way. I had a brand new baby, my firstborn, and I wanted a place where I could show my grandmother pictures of him and our new house and what we were doing. And it sort of snowballed once I realized, oh, I have a voice here. I do have something to say. So, and then the YouTube came about probably a couple years ago. I started the YouTube channel, but it really maybe had 100 followers or something until, January, February of last year. I had started the YouTube channel because I had been contacted by a reality show that wanted to do a 6-week series about women in agriculture and, mom, the crazy do-it-all mom, whatever they're enamored with. And their contract was really tough. I just couldn't swallow it. And Shay at the Elliott Homestead, ironically, said to me over the phone one day, she said, well, why don't you just start a YouTube channel and really build up content there and share something there, so you have full creative control. And I was so, again, naive. I had no idea people had basically their own shows on YouTube and they had followings and branding. I was clueless.
Well, here's the funny thing is that I have been on YouTube and I still didn't know that. I think I treated YouTube kind of like Facebook for a while, where I just kind of was going to share something, but I didn't realize what a big deal YouTube is, So
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no idea. I remember when we were about 80 people from hitting 1,000, my son said, "Mom, you got to go live on Facebook. You got to push this up and over." So he turned on the live ticker and we went live on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, want to follow my YouTube channel?" I don't know what I'm doing, but come along. So.
Oh, how nice. Well, your channel's amazing. It's going to just go up and up. I'm sure of it. So that's really exciting.
Thank you. It is fun. I'm very much enjoying the creative aspect of the video, of the editing. I feel like every week I get a little bit better and better, and I look back and go, that's what I wanted to present. At the beginning it's a little rough, so.
Did you teach yourself how to edit videos?
Yeah, I've been editing, just tinkering with iMovie, just family movies and things like that for a long time. So it was something I knew how to do. And I come from a very creative family. So I learned things long, long time ago about, not holding a particular shot too long because people get bored,
right.
Keep it moving. So I was able to just take little tidbits I've heard from professionals in my family and incorporate that.
Oh, that's great. Well, you do a very good job. So I'm very impressed. I have my little list of questions that I'm going to ask. I almost called you Shay. I just think of the two of you at the same. Hi, Shay.
Hi, Shay.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, what is your connection to France? Why do you call yourself Parisienne Farmgirl? What's the connection there?
Sure. I remember when I started the blog, I wanted to come up with a really creative name. And I really feel like I have two very distinct sides to my personality. I have the polished, stylish side, and I have just the farm girl, go get dirty, play in the mud side. And I do have an agricultural background with my grandparents and a family farm, and I have this love and this affinity for the French and for their culture. And I remember I made the name Parisienne Farmgirl.
It's perfect. It's such a good name.
I sat up in bed that first night and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to spell it the feminine way. And so I ran back down and, it was Blogspot back in the day and switched it to the IENNE. And that was the beginning. I just thought these two words really represent so much about what I love. So.
Well, it's perfect. I was, as an aside to the audience, I was talking to Angela and I was saying, do I say Parisienne Farmgirl or Parisienne Farmgirl? It's kind of like, this is a funny story. When I was living in Paris, they would call me Jennifer. That was my name, Jennifer, everybody. And so whenever a French person would ask me what my name was and I'd be with my American friends, I would just say Jennifer. And then they would laugh at me because they're like, why are you saying your name like that?
Right.
Why don't you say it's Jennifer, not Jennifer? But it's like, which one do you say when you're in America, But I think we're sticking to Parisienne Farmgirl, right?
I think that's good. Sometimes on my videos I say it one way. Yeah. Sometimes I say it the other. I can't ever decide if it's obnoxious to say it the other way. So sometimes I tone it down a little.
That's hilarious. Okay, so, with a lot of my stylish guests like you, I like to talk about makeup, style, beauty, and that type of thing. So you have a very classic style, it seems, and you always have the bold lip and like the natural makeup look. So can you talk to us about your makeup routine?
Sure. I think my influences there are two women that I just have a profound admiration for, which maybe slightly controversial, but one is Marilyn Monroe and the other is Princess Diana. I was basically raised on both of them. My interest in Marilyn came from just a love of old Hollywood and glamour. And when I was 5 years old, my mother woke me up to watch the royal wedding and was a longtime admirer of Princess Diana. I actually had the opportunity to meet her before she passed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
In England?
I met her at the Drake in Chicago, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, a couple times got to engage with her that day as she was in and out doing all those engagements. So that was incredible.
Yeah, really, I can imagine how amazing.
One of my best. I mean, to meet someone, I wrote letters to her. I have stationery from St. James Palace. Her ladies in waiting would respond to my total fangirl letters, and
wow.
So she always had a defined eye with mascara, and then Marilyn always had the red lip, and I just thought, well, I just have always been attracted to that, creating a really clean palette with the skin, and then adding the pop of color, and just highlighting the eyes with taupe and maybe a black liner and mascara. So,
well, it looks so good on you. I have tried wearing red lipstick. I just feel like it's not. I don't know. I don't think everybody can wear red lipstick. What do you think? Can everyone wear it?
I encourage everyone to just really try to I get a lot of questions about red lipstick. It's so funny. And it's fun to see women finally make it their own, because a lot of women really want to wear it. They're just scared, they almost need permission. But it is something where you have to wear it instead of vice versa.
Yes.
So I think there's actually a mindset behind red lipstick. And so you either just commit to it for a couple weeks till you acclimate to what you see in the mirror, or it's not for you.
That's so funny. I feel like a certain type of personality can wear red lipstick, and then another maybe can't. I feel like I'm the kind that I've tried it, but I don't know. I think I like dark berry tones, kind of like darker, almost there, but not quite. I don't know. I just can't. It looks so good on you.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll try it because of you. So yeah, you talked about the skin, and so what's your skincare routine like then? Because obviously you have beautiful skin and you don't wear too much makeup. So what's your skincare routine like?
So I've always been very meticulous about taking care of my skin. It's sort of a family story where we do come from this farming background, and one day at a shopping mall, my grandmother met one of the company was called Beauty Control. It's kind of like a Mary Kay competitor, and so she had the lady to her house, had a party. All my aunts learned how to do makeup, my mom, my grandmother, and we learned how to take care of our skin. And I was 12 years old. And so from the get-go, I was taught to take care of my skin, which I'm very grateful for. So I never go to bed with my makeup on, ever, ever, ever.
Right.
I wash my face morning and night. I do use a lot of essential oils on my face and essential oil infused products.
Mm-hmm. So what's the best essential oil for your skin? Is it frankincense? That's what I was talking about with Shay mentioned that, I remember.
I did start, that's kind of how I broke into using oils on my face. I started with frankincense because I had quite a bit of leftover melasma from pregnancies. These days, one of my favorites to use is yarrow palm.
I've never heard of that before.
It's yarrow and pomegranate seed.
Oh, okay.
And it's incredible.
Oh, okay.
I love it. So it acts as an emollient. So I put it on a little bit after I wash my face while my face is still a little bit damp. Mm-hmm. And then I use my hydrating cream, and I've always used an eye cream. And so I'm just diligent with my skincare.
Right. So. And do you mix the oil with your cream, or do you just put it on without anything, without a carrier oil?
Yeah, I just put it on before the hydrating cream. Yeah.
All right.
It's newer. It came out last year. It's a newer oil, and I love it. You'll see it on. It's on my YouTube videos. The makeup ones, the skincare ones. I spread the yarrow love. So
okay. Well, if you have any questions for Angela about that, I'll leave all her information below. So let's talk about style now. So you are. I think you're a very classic style, right? Is this correct? I mean, you've got the button-down shirt and the bold turquoise necklace. I love it. So tell us about your fashion philosophy, your style.
Sure. I would say, yeah, I'm pretty classic. Again, being raised on Princess Diana, pretty classic.
Yeah.
But I do love a touch of drama. So it is a real classic look with a hint of old Hollywood. Mm-hmm. I love structure. And so I do wear a lot of button-up blouses. I just think they work for me. If I see a picture of myself in a t-shirt, even if it's a nice t-shirt, I'm like, oh, that's just horrible. I do like the angle of a structured look. Yeah. I don't wear that many patterns, but if I do, I try to find something that's really bold, which is not usually, normally I'm in a very like black blouse or a white blouse. And so if I find just like the perfect pattern, it's strange. Sometimes when I see something, I'm surprised I'm attracted to it. But still very classic in cut. So I love a feminine look. I wear skirts and dresses often, but I'm not, like I would classify you as more romantic in your fashion personality. And I'm not, I don't wear lace. I don't.
Yeah. Every time it freezes, I'm just going to do a little dance. For you watching out there, we have a poor connection, so it keeps freezing if you're wondering, what's going on. But I think I am a very kind of feminine, romantic, kind of eclectic dresser like that. But yes, I see you as very classic, sophisticated, timeless look. So yeah, it's pretty. What are the colors that you like to wear the most?
Navy blue is my favorite color.
Do you know, I love it. I love navy too.
Just love it. It
so
makes
good.
me so happy. I just love navy blue.
Yeah.
I love pairing it with cream, like with a nice winter white or with mustard. I love navy blue and mustard. So there's a lot of navy blue in my closet. I'm kind of a sucker for it.
I love that. I wanted to talk to you about your interior design talents because you should see her home tour, the home tour that you did recently. Your home is so beautiful. I love how fresh and unique your interior design style is. You've got a lot of copper in your kitchen. It's just very fresh, and I think a lot of women in America, because we all kind of shop at the same box chain stores, can have a very generic look, but I don't get that. I get an antique vibe from your home, and it's really beautiful. So talk to us about your process for decorating your home.
Okay. So much of, I feel like I'm just repeating myself. So much of my influence comes from my childhood. My mom always had our home decorated, and she did it authentic. So it was the 80s when country was in, Mary Emmerling, and, a lot of country blue and teddy bears stenciled on pillows and things like that.
I love that, by the way.
It was a very country authentic look. So it was very primitive. We had the pie safe and the trunk as a coffee table. And so I think I really took a lot from that in my really falling in love with French decor. I always wanted an authentic look with my own spin, but I never hung a Bon Appetit sign in my kitchen. I wanted it to look like a French kitchen. That was kind of always my thing. And about 20 years ago, I was introduced to a beautiful book by Claudia Strasser called The Paris Apartment.
I have that book, I believe.
Yeah. We were living in a townhouse at the time, and I thought, well, this is something I can totally do with this space. And I did it. The one bedroom, nailed it. And in fact, it made there was an old magazine called Vintage and Victorian, and they put it on the cover. And Claudia said, she's like, you did it. That's the best copycat version of that bedroom. And I'm not normally one to want to copy someone, but I was just so enamored with what she had done with that space. So then when we moved to home, then it all kind of worked together where I began gardening. I put in my first potager, and I thought, I just want this whole French country look again, but with a little bit of Ange spin to it. So I do love antiques. I love antiques that look a little bit more European, and I want it to be very comfortable. I want it to have a layered look, so it does look like an ancestral home, things that have been gathered.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Thank you.
It doesn't look like it's new in a good way. I'm saying this in a good way because, when I lived with Madame Chic in the 16th arrondissement, they were the real deal, right? I mean, these were real antiques from their real ancestral line, and it was, you could just tell, you could just walk in and it was the atmosphere of it all. And everything wasn't new and I guess bougie, I guess you would say. Right? And that's a major compliment too.
Thank you. Thanks. I do enjoy it. And I love the thrill of the hunt as well. So in trying to create that layered look, then I can always just keep buying. There's always an excuse to keep buying, and those items, I think just as an investment into your home, they go up in value, where a piece of veneer from a box store or whatever, veneer covered, that's just going to really end up on the curb someday. And I do think it's a great investment as well, especially when you can get a deal, which I love.
Yeah, I love antiques shopping on eBay. So I get a lot of paintings and
Right.
vases, and I like blue and white, china and blue and white lamps and that. So I buy a lot of that type of stuff on eBay. That's a great place if you don't live near good antique shops.
No,
Yeah.
it's a great place, especially like oil paintings and the
Right.
shingles blue and white for sure.
So are you a minimalist? You're not a minimalist, right? I mean, I wouldn't look at your home and think it was. I'm going to do my happy frozen dance. Okay, we're back. So I was just saying before it froze that it doesn't appear that you're a minimalist, like style wise, right? Like that's the craze that's sweeping the world right now. I feel like in so many YouTube videos, there's a person and there's a plant, and then that's it. Like it's that minimal interior design aesthetic. And you have the opposite. You have, there's so much going on, and I love it. I just love that.
I really want, if you're an observant person and you come into my home, I want you to feel like you could get to know me by looking at what's around.
Yeah.
And I do love oil paintings, and the oil paintings are of things that move me. So one is of ducks and thatched roof houses. And, I've got little letters from Paris, with beautiful script laying around and clocks ticking. And I want you to feel like this feeling. I want you to feel this feeling when you walk into my house and feel warm and cozy. It's, there's a lot of antiques, but it's still very family friendly. I'm no minimalist because I love too many things. So I love old books.
I like that. I'm the same way. I feel like I'm a minimalist with my wardrobe, but not much else. I feel like in my home, I do like that. It's that European look of a well-lived home, because my husband's English, and his family, they live in England, and my mother-in-law, she is the most incredible interior designer I know. She's not an interior designer, but her home is unbelievable. And it's just like it's covered in paintings and just beautiful everything. And it's not, she jokes, she's not a minimalist at all. I mean, everywhere you look, there's something, but it's a beautiful look, and I do love that. So I wanted to ask you, because you have 6 children, and how old is the youngest?
3.
So because, I struggle with this myself. When you have children and you have young ones, how do you still have a space that looks good? I don't know, because I know a lot of women think, you know what, when the kids are older, then I'm going to decorate my home, then I'm going to have nice things. How do you deal with that?
Things get broken, and sometimes I get mad because rotten bananas get left on my desk, and it's thus the fruit fly that keeps flying past my face. I think for me, it's important that they're surrounded with beautiful things and that they learn what to touch and what not to touch and what is beautiful, and that cheap isn't always better. And this is special. So we scooch it out of the way when we're going to play Uno and have a riot. I think that's okay. I guess maybe I'm selfish. I could never wait. I think it's really important for me to still be me and present my kids with me, and I love beautiful things, and they do too. Each of them now in their own ways they know what an antique is, or they appreciate things, and I see that even come through in their own possessions where this is special. I have it on display instead of having it tucked away because it means something to me. But it's real life stuff gets broken. I've lost things that I really love, and there's random socks left on the countertop. It's totally real. There's 8 people, and
right.
Crazy. So,
but I love that because, a lot of women lose themselves when they're a mom, and they're just kind of swamped with children, and that you can lose yourself. And that's why I try to speak to so many women who find themselves in a style rut, maybe just wearing yoga pants every day and just feeling totally overwhelmed and just, but it's so important for mothers in particular to not lose themselves and maintain their style and the things that they love, because it is a very hard day-to-day life. I mean, it's not glamorous, and to be surrounded by your stamp on things, because I feel like the mother sets the tone of the family, and that stamp on things is so important. And so I love that you don't lose yourself through that.
Yeah, I totally agree about mom setting the tone, and I do think it's really important. I mean, if goodness, how long will I be when it's all said and done? When the last one leaves home, that's a long time to have shelved myself.
I know.
That teaches them that message that.
Yes.
I think it actually downplays the beauty of being a mother. Hey, you have to be this martyr. You have to, just out in yoga pants and a dirty
in the Frozen dance. You were just talking before it froze. You were talking about, how mothers, we shouldn't just be the martyr and just exist and try to get through every day, but you should, really thrive. And you are a Charlotte Mason homeschooling family as well, right?
Yes, correct. To the best of my ability. Yes.
And we are too. And that is so much also in the philosophy as well, that the atmosphere sets the affection. And this applies to every family, not just homeschooling families, but that the atmosphere, first of all, the mother is largely in charge of the atmosphere in the home. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it is. And, so it's really up to us to set that tone. What's the music that's playing? What's the art on the walls? What does the home look like? Because that's what that will set your children's affections.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do you manage to homeschool 6 children?
It's tough. I was just telling someone the other day, it's by far the most difficult thing that I do all week. I actually am a bit of an introvert. And so that's one of my challenges with motherhood is constant stimulation. And I just want to pull back. And that happens the arena where that happens the most is in the classroom. There's so much going on. And I do find it difficult. I find it amazing. I'm a reluctant homeschool mother. It was not my first intention, but I had a complete change of heart. My eldest son was born with a heart condition, and just the mama lion came out in me so much that we discovered it about a week and a half after he was born. Mm. So it was already head over heels for this little person. And then we did a lot of time in the hospital getting things sorted out. And I just had this epiphany. Well, I want to be with him. Mm. I don't want to send him out at 4 years old and 5 years old. Like I would miss him. And you know what? When he falls in love with Shakespeare, I want to be there.
Yeah.
That's my privilege. I get to be there when that happens, when he has those discoveries and about himself and about beauty and the world and technology. In his case, is his passion. I get to be there. I would not want to give that privilege to someone else. Mm.
Well, that's beautiful. So you have been homeschooling the whole way through.
I have. Mm-hmm. And it's been tough. I've had, 6 babies, and when I was expecting, I was very ill for the whole time. So it's been challenging for sure. But to see them love what they do and to see them be able to develop their hobbies and to see them be able to experience childhood. I see a lot of hours going by in the school and then a lot of hours spent doing homework in the evening. And that's such a short, precious time of life. And with Charlotte's philosophy about the atmosphere, we're always learning. We're reading books together as a family. Someone says, "Can I make dinner with you, Mom?" or "Help me pull weeds." Or we're walking through the forest. There's always learning going on. So
you said something that surprised me. You said you were an introvert, because I consider I am an extreme introvert. Okay. And people say, how can that be if you have a YouTube channel? But it's because I'm just talking to I feel like I'm talking to everybody, but I'm just with the camera. I'm not surrounded by people, So, but with the bold lip and the bold jewelry and the pattern, how are you an introvert? How can you be an introvert who wears bold lipstick? Tell me about this. I feel like you're a paradox.
I guess I'm an extroverted introvert. But
yeah, I think there's a spectrum there, isn't there?
Sure. So, I'm terrible at a party. I'm horrible at small talk.
Really?
Oh, it's an embarrassment. I really like to talk about things really meaningful, and I really want to dive into a conversation. And so I'm terrible just shooting the breeze. My husband bails me out all the time. after being with people, I do need to just go refuel. I need to
Yes.
go have quiet and just recharge my batteries so that I
Mm-hmm.
can go be me again. And I think that's, I do love humor, and I'm sure I have a strong personality. I'm aware of that, but it's not a sign of just always wanting to be outpouring. I do really just love to be alone. And I don't really get that a lot. It's not really the way my life is set up, but I do enjoy being alone. I could go out and have dinner by myself. I'm
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with that. But yeah, so I guess extroverted, introvert.
It's a good book called The Introverted Mom, and I just finished it, and it is so it made me it's so deeply insightful, and I had so many revelations about myself from this book that I didn't realize. But I do think that one of the signs of an introverted person is that when they are around people, when they go home, they need to be alone, and they need to kind of recover from it. And that's me. And I never understood that until now. I'm almost 40, and it's taken me this long to realize this, But I get extremely exhausted by being around other people. Not my family necessarily, because I am always around my family, but
Right.
other people. Yeah, and so it's something that I've had to really, but now that I know this about myself, it's so empowering because you just know, and you don't overschedule yourself in that sense.
For sure. And I
Yeah.
think recovery is the perfect word.
Yes, you recover.
You do. It's recovery. And I think sometimes it's important for the people in your life to remember it's no reflection on them.
Yes.
I've experienced that where I've had to say, this is no reflection on you.
Yeah.
I just need to go shut down for a little bit.
Yes, exactly. So your phrase is joie de vivre. So please explain that to people who don't know what that is, and how can we have that in our life?
Joie de vivre is just one of those fabulous French expressions, and it literally means joy of life. And I think the French do it so well. My take on it is a little bit different. And when I say it or when I'm passionate about it, I'm really applying it to the modern woman. I think that our modern world is really set up to suck joy away. And we pride ourselves on being busy. We pride ourselves on being stressed out. Well, if we're really stressed out, we must make a lot of money. If we're really busy, we must be more popular. And I really long to help women experience the beauty in just the simple things, and to put themselves first and surround themselves with those simple things. And this is like maybe a really silly example, but I just taught a cooking class. Teach at a cooking school here in Door County occasionally. And I had so many herbs in the garden. So I brought a lot of herbs with me the other night. And I was watching these women touch these herbs and smell them. And it was clear that maybe they had never done that before, or maybe it had been so long since they just got to appreciate something, and they were oohing and eyeing. And not that herbs equal joie de vivre, but that was just like in my mind, I thought, wow, what a shame that you don't even have just a little pot on your counter and you get to just walk by and smell it because it brings you pleasure. And I love to see women put themselves first, surround themselves with treasures, have those things happening all day long that bring them joy, because of the bombardment from outside sources that really robs it, whether it's the noise and chaos of a television or a really stressful job. I want them to have joie de vivre and find little pockets of it here and there all day long, and be really intentional about it, and know that is absolutely okay. It doesn't mean you live in a fantasy land. It means that you deserve to have moments of just pleasure day long, and beauty.
Beauty and pleasure. That reminds me of, I do something on my channel called the Chic Assignment, and we study art and poetry.
I love it. I was like, why didn't I think of that?
Well, this month,
the composer or the violinist, I thought, oh, that is so brilliant to expose women.
Yes, because women, we need to feed our soul. I think men do it too, but women, we need to feed our soul. And we are living in such a world where, all day long, we're busy, we're on Instagram, it's dead. Like it's all just completely dead. And we need to fill our soul with beautiful music and art and poetry. We need to feed ourselves this diet because it's not going to happen on its own. You know, reality television, scrolling Instagram, not happening. But what you said reminded me of this month, our poet is Robert Frost. And one of the poems I was reading is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. And that, I just cannot stop thinking about this poem. And he's riding his horse and he's in the woods and he stops and the horse is like, what are you doing? You know, and he stops and he sees this house, he sees this scene, and it's just beautiful. And it froze. It froze. He wants to stop and go check this scene and do this. But what he does is he takes it in for a moment. And then he realizes, you know, he has promises to keep and miles to go before he sleeps. So he has to keep going. And that's like that's us. We, as women, we have miles to go before we sleep. We have promises to keep. But it's so important to stop and smell the herbs and just take in the beauty throughout the day. Oh, I want to cry.
It's so funny that you say that. We're doing Keats right now and memorizing to Autumn, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this poem. I'm out this morning at 6 with my camera, and I just was like trying to capture things that reminded me of this poem. So I totally feel what you're saying there.
Yeah, so important. Well, Angela, it was so nice to have you on the channel, and I really enjoyed talking to you. I hope that I get to have you on again and we could chat again because this was such a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. When you messaged me, I was like, oh, yay.
I know. This is so fun.
I love what you do for women. I just have so much respect for your message and just want you to know that it absolutely matters. The message that you're always putting out there. It matters. It's never redundant or repetitive. It needs to be just kept being said over and over again, because those of us who appreciate the poise and the polish and the beauty, there's so few resources. So thank you for everything that you do.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you too. And I'm looking forward to following along on your YouTube channel. And I will leave all of Angela's information down below. So definitely go check out her channel, subscribe to her channel, and show her some love. And yes, and I'm glad to call you friend now. So this is wonderful.
Next.
All right. We'll see you next time on the Daily Connoisseur. Thanks everyone for joining us. Bye.